Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your boy, Ayo Eric, back with another segment of A Whole Lot of Cap, man, and we're gonna get right into it. They saying Monique, man. All these clips from that episode she did with Shannon Sharp, you know, they going viral one at a time, and so everybody's hitting me up this morning like, yo, you gotta watch that Monique segment on Shannon Sharp's show where she talked about her son, and her son just responded to what she said. I'm not even aware of what the relationship is with her and her son. I know her and all the people then fell out over various, reasons over the years. But I'm gonna watch it with y'all live, man. We're gonna get a live reaction to what's going on.
It's one of those things where you have to pray to the universe and say, let time do the healing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Right.
That's it. Let time do that healing. It may heal it in time and it may not.
Right.
And that's something that we as parents have to say, listen,
Right.
I've done what I could do. I've taken accountability for it. Now it's up to you.
Right.
That's like when somebody's saying, Shannon, I want to apologize to you. Now it's up to you.
Whether or not to accept it.
Whether or not to, but once I give it to you, I've done my part. And don't apologize like no punk. I'm just sorry for everything. That gets your ass out of it. No, break it down.
Time around. What's your relationship like? Is he resentful of that?
We're still very much separated.
Okay.
And it's a...
My experience with my mother is not their experience with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do all
right, let's go.
But to address the Club Shay interview that she did where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. But to address the Club Shay interview, newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect, we're all human, but my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started, but to take it a around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the excuse me, the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate. I guess you could say there are now two baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still, during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him, holds around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. No, wait. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, that ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right. Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings are. No, wait. Supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then he gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I didn't do that. And when he told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. It's not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. Supposed to be. A mother is. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly. I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. I even thought, I'm alive, I'm happy, through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? But it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct. But what I can say, good for her, the universe did, bless her with three other sons. And God willing, I'm sure that all three of them are adults now. So I'm sure that one of them, God willing, if not all three of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. I still look forward, to that moment for her. But overall, When it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you were not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. My mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with...
Man. Yo, that's sad as fuck. That is super fucking sad, man. It's crazy. It kind of hit me a little different because I went through the same shit, like basically growing up, and I just had this conversation with my pops like the other day. I kind of went through this with my pops, like, whew, man, imagine having siblings who have a close relationship with the parent that neglected you, you know what I'm saying? But that parent was in the household with them, you know what I'm saying? And they like completely act like you don't exist. Everything else in the world was more important than you. Thinking that, you know, buying you video games here and there, or, you know, like stuff that really made them feel good because they saw how it lit your spirits up, but it was really for them and for everybody else. This is public consumption so that they could be painted as the good guy, as a good parent. That is tough, man. I'm not gonna sit here and shit on Monique because there's always two sides to a story. But man, listening to that brother talk, man, he sounds very articulate, very smart, very aware of everything that has gone on in his life, and it looked like he's done his due diligence through therapy, being self-reflective, going through his own thoughts, and seeing exactly why that situation is where it is now. And although I don't believe it when he says, you know, that they have nothing to offer each other now, and that he has no want to, you know, rectify what's going on between them and their relationships. And I don't believe that at all, because you could just kind of tell. I mean, he wouldn't have done that video in response to what she said if, you know, he was completely over it, you know. I have exes that could come out right now and make a video and say things about me, right? And I wouldn't give a fuck because I'm not in love with them. But if it's somebody that I do love, or I am in love with, and they make a video, it probably hit a little different, and I probably would respond. You know what I'm saying? So that just is what it is. You know, that video was very sad, and knowing that he's not only disconnected from his mom, you know, like, mom, you think it's always gonna have your back, you know, like forever, you know, to have that distance between him and his mom. But not only that, between him and his 3 siblings, I'm pretty sure they're not close, you know. They, like he said, they have a completely different relationship than he has with their mom, you know. And everybody's not open to hearing that. And then there's a lot of, you know, people who are brothers and sisters who are raised in different households, and they don't even, you know, your step brothers and sisters. Like, I don't believe in the term step brother and sister, or I mean half brother and sister. Hell, we either share the same blood or we don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, And so I always looked at it like that. But you know, as a kid and as an adult, I kind of realized that everybody doesn't view it that way. A lot of people view their half siblings as nothing to them. You know what I'm saying? And me, I take family very serious. So I'm kind of like him in a sense to where, like, you know, if that rest of the family isn't showing you the love that you're putting out, like, then I'll just stay away. I'll keep my distance. So man, this one right here just kind of it hit home. You know, this is a messed up situation. I pray, I hope that Monique and her son are able to get this right at some point. I did catch the shots he was throwing at her because she was crediting the universe for everything. Like, what the, okay, you don't believe in God. It's basically what when people tell you that they thank the universe for X, Y, and Z. That's just what I get out of that. You going very hard to not say God, you know. So, and I see he picked up on it as well, man. It's a tough situation, man. But y'all getting these comments, y'all like, subscribe, and share, man. Let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think? Oh, another thing. Her saying that she's there whenever he's ready. No child wants to hear that shit, man. Especially if the parent was wrong. If I was wrong, then yeah, okay, you sit there and wait until I come. You know what I'm saying? But if you're wrong as a parent, man, and you waiting on your child to rectify a situation, like, you are out of pocket. Me and my pops just had this conversation, and I told him, he says this thing to me like all the time, and that I just called him. I just said something about it the other day while we was on the phone. I talked to my pops for 2 hours the other day. Hadn't talked to him in I don't know how long. But I said, you say this shit to me every time we talk that I don't fucking like. It makes no sense. He was like, you know, I'm gonna just make it up. I know I was, you know, wasn't a great father to you and, you know, my other kids, you know, to some capacity. So I'm gonna just make it up with my grandkids. I'm like, nigga, your grandkids got parents that are, you know, full-time parents. You know, we're around our kids all the time. Your kids are still here. Thank God. You know, be there for your kids. You can't make up what you did wrong to us or your lack of being there. You can't make that up with our kids. You know what I'm saying? My son is good. He got a daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what you can do as an adult is you can be there to give your kids a listening ear. You could pop up and show your kids that you care. You could, you know, offer to, you know, just help out in any way that you can. You can make experiences with your kids. Like he was saying, I don't even want money. You know, like your kids might just want to go catch a football game with you. They might want to go catch a basketball game with you. They might want to go to the bar, just go out to eat. You know what I'm saying? Cook, just have your kid over. You know, not just have your kids over during the holidays. Not just have your kids over, you know, when it's a cookout and you invited everybody. But, you know, just have times where you bond with your own kid. And, you know, sadly, asking people to kick it with the beings that they created might just be a little too much, you know, to ask for, apparently. But, man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. It's your boy Ayo Eric with a whole lot of cap. We out.